So talking about your pain is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. Hiding your pain is a failure to yourself and others. When we silence our pain, it bubbles, it festers, it grows, and it bursts. That's why we have so much violence in this country by males, adult males, because they are silencing their pain, and then they take that pain out on other people physically, emotionally, mentally, and they abuse each other with their words or actions. But if they actually talked about their pain from a very young age, or they talk about the pain even as an adult, they can have the ability to purge the pain from their soul, so that they don't have to use that pain to hurt other people. And they can heal themselves mentally, therapeutically, emotionally, and then they can heal their families. So men out there who are in pain, who are using that pain to hurt other people, stop, take a breath, realize your mistakes, change your ways, because that abuse, that damage to your wife or your loved one or your family, your friends, or your sons and daughters, it changes the rest of their life, and it shapes them, just as you were shaped by the pain you went through. But you're 1,000 times greater than the worst thing you've ever done. But you have to recognize that, and you have to change your ways, and you have to find recovery so you can recover your family and your life and your purpose. Well, we've got to fix it. We've got to become an enraged public that changes it ourselves. Well, I think we take a page from the people that have done it where it's worked. Best Buy is doing it. They have a great benefits package for mental health. They're building an even better one ahead of the curve, and they're changing the narrative. So we take a page from their book and we grow from there. One of the things we can do is every year the National Council for Behavioral Health holds an annual event called Hill Day. And on Hill Day, masses of people in the mental health field congregate on Capitol Hill and lobby for politicians to change mental health law and to enact new mental health policies that absolutely have a transformative effect on American lives. I'll give you a prime example. My father, Pat Hines, after I did what I did, founded the Bridge Rail Foundation. And the Bridge Rail Foundation's sole purpose was to raise a net or rail at the Golden Gate Bridge to stop the suicides at the Golden Gate. Now, it took us 10 years, and we fought tirelessly every month at a hearing to change this course of action and stop the suicides at the Golden Gate. And we're proud to tell you that as of January 2021, as they're building the net now, not one more beautiful soul will be lost to the Golden Gate Bridge for the rest of all eternity. The Golden Gate Bridge, the ninth wonder of the world, the largest and brightest bridge in America, will be the biggest beacon for suicide prevention in the world. And it'll encourage others to build bridges with barriers on them, which are already being done now. Okay, so it's going to be a tool for suicide prevention, reducing access to lethal means, one of the only factual ways we know to reduce suicides. So if we can do that in that community of San Francisco, we can do anything. We just have to fight for it. And it takes time, effort, finding funding, but all of those things are possible with a group of like-minded individuals who are driven toward a specific cause and never give up. I'm going to look right into the camera here. Parents, adults, if you hold a weapon in your hands, you need to have it in a coded lockbox that your children cannot get to. If you love someone who is considering suicide or struggling mentally, you need to hide that gun until they're better. If you, I'm not going to advocate for or against gun violence or gun ownership. We're certainly going to advocate against gun violence, but I'm not going to advocate for or against gun ownership. What I'm going to tell you is that these weapons, whether you believe people kill people or guns kill people, that's not the point. The point is they're dangerous in the hands of the wrong people, and people in pain can use them to hurt themselves. So the facts are, we have to protect these children next to those weapons in their home to make sure that if they're suicidal, they have no access to them, right? We have to make sure that they're safe every day of the week from these weapons, and as firearms are the highest rate of suicide in this community, we need to make sure that the people who are mentally unstable are not given easy access to weaponry. It just doesn't make any sense. It's not logical. So if you're using logic and you're using intelligence and you're making sure that people are safe, you're not putting those weapons in the hands of people who could use them to harm themselves. Sometimes it's not about what we say, it's about what we do. And I think that one of the things that's worked in the past for people who are in denial of their mental pain and families who are worried about their loved ones with mental pain but don't know where to start. Write them a letter. Write them a letter. They're called caring letters. If they usually include 5 things: love, compassion, care, empathy, a complete lack of judgment. But they also include a very special ingredient, which is the signs, symptoms, and triggers that they're worried about. These letters are written by 3 to 5 individuals in the family or loved ones or friends. They're all written in handwritten notes, legibly, and they have those components: love, compassion, care, empathy, a lack of judgment, and what they're worried about. When all of these 5 letters say the same thing in different words, you're showing the person you love them rather than just telling them. They add along with that caring packages. Packages of things like a basket or a box of things that that person loves, their favorite things. So you're not just telling them what to do about their mental health. You're not just telling them they're having a problem. You're not just telling them they need help. You're showing them they need help. And showing people rather than going in one ear and out the other, it actually can help transform their lives. So one of the things we need to do every day is ask people who look visibly in pain if they're okay, if they're hurting, if they're being hurt at home, and if they're suicidal. Those are the questions you need to ask to people who you think might be having a hard time on a regular basis, no matter how much you might be annoying them. And one of the things you need to do is, in order to be the one to change a life, you be the one to be there physically, be there emotionally, ask those questions: are you suicidal and do you have a plan? And when they answer that question, physically sitting down and staying with that individual and inviting adults and people of authority and counselors into the foyer to make sure that that person's safe. It's not enough to ask for help when you don't feel like you can. We have to be the ones who are sane and well to reach in first. We can't wait for them to start the conversation when they don't want to talk about it. We have to go to the individuals who we hear about or we know about or we don't know about, and we have to reach in. If we're going to ask people to reach out, we need to be willing to reach in.
And so your shirt and your motto, be here tomorrow.
Be here tomorrow. And every damn day after that. You know, it is what it is. It means what it means. It means be here tomorrow. It means, look, I find people that wear this shirt that just fight to be here one day at a time. If that's what it means to you, great. For me, it means be here tomorrow and every day. All right, and it helps people realize that if they can just get to tomorrow, they can continue their path that's meant for this world. That's all you got to do. Just get to tomorrow. Do your breathing exercises, eat healthily, educate yourself, do everything you can to stabilize your brain health, and be here tomorrow. There's no cure for mental illness. Everyone has to deal with their mental health. Everyone has to take care of their mental health or they will not be well. But mental health and physical health need to just be health. And so there's no cure right now. I highly doubt there will be in the next 20 years. So if that's the case, or longer, if that's the case, we need to do everything we can to balance our brain health. We're talking about synapses and neurons misfiring, misconnecting. Those aren't things you can just cure right now. We don't have the technology. So until we do, everyone needs to teach their children how to find an even keel with their mental health, especially if it's one that is waning or suffering. Well, I think we've talked about it. I mean, I literally eat healthy most days. Brain foods that feed my brain health, good nutritious foods that are positive for my brain and mind and behavioral health. And there's a great book out there called Genius Foods by Max Lugavere, a friend of mine, which talks about the woes of inflammatory foods. Gluten is inflammatory, caffeine is inflammatory, refined sugars are inflammatory, but organic, freshly farmed vegetables are non-inflammatory. They don't swell your brain. They heal your brain. There are these things that directly affect the brain because your gut health is directly related to your brain health. Now, I eat these things. I just don't eat a lot of them because they do taste good. But I'm not going to oversaturate my body with them so I can stay mentally stable because I'm eating foods that feed my brain and my gut positive nutrition. Your brain membranes often lie in your gut. If you're feeding your mouth poorly nutritious foods, you're literally damaging your brain every single day. Those foods exist in this school. So you need to replace them. As administrators, you need to say no more. As administrators, you need to get summer reading books like Genius Foods so you can have these kids go home and then enact those words into action and change their own lives. So they can bring it to their parents and say, Mom and Dad, stop eating these foods and start eating these, and we can have better brain health. Because those inflammatory foods cause, guess what? Depression, anxiety, mental health problems at large. And they're plaguing our country. If this country took initiative to start eating proper foods that weren't inflammatory, we'd all have a better life, all of us, and that's guaranteed. So if you don't know, there's a study out of Georgia where I live. 23 minutes of rigorous exercise leads to 12 hours of better mood. So if you do 23 minutes of rigorous exercise with very little breaks twice a day, 24 hours of better mood. If you're physically capable and you're not, we got to get to it so we can better our brain health. All of us can do that who have the ability. So, yeah. It lies in hard work. It lies in doing everything I possibly can to affect this so that I can affect this. So I can go out 300 days a year and try to help people. So, you know, my dad taught me that nothing good ever came without hard work. And the only way to better brain health is through hard work. And so when you're ready to do it, get on the ground and get moving.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So,
Hi. Yeah.
Thought in classic Deadpool fashion.
Yeah.
If you break that fourth wall, and maybe just looking at this camera, and just to that person watching the video who is having suicidal thoughts, who has this plan, just speaking directly to that person.
You bet. If you're having suicidal thoughts, I mean, look at the first opening scene of the film Deadpool 2. He attempts suicide because he's in so much pain. But he can't die. You can. So listen to me. Hear me. Stop. Breathe. Stop. Breathe. Do 4-8. Inhale through your nose 4 seconds. Release through pursed lips like a whistle but no sound for 8 seconds. Do that 10 to 30 more times. Lower your blood pressure, lower your heart rate, lower your anxiety, lower your stress, lower your panic. And realize your true value. You are intended to be here. You are important to all of us. Suicide should never be the solution to your problem. I told the kids today it is the problem. All right? I got to live from my attempt. My attempt was the worst action I ever took. Jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge was the worst action I ever took. It was a mistake. I only get to know that because I lived. You might not. Don't learn the hard way like I did. Text CNQR to 741-741, the crisis text line. Text CNQR to 741-741, the crisis text line. Text CNQR to 741-741, the crisis text line. They will reach you in seconds to minutes. They will make sure these trained crisis counselors to keep you safe and well. All right, you deserve to be here. You are important. You are intended. Think of all the children who never make it past the womb. The miscarriages of this world. 30% of every first pregnancy. My wife and I know that pain. Jack Ryan will never be in our arms. But you're here right now. Simply put, that means you're intended to be here. You're supposed to be here until your natural end. I hope you stay. I hope you find a way to be here tomorrow. I love you. I appreciate you. And I'm glad you're here.